Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today's episode 2436. That's where all today's takeaways will be, show notes, product reviews, etc. Love the Friday review, and I hope that you're enjoying it as well. Every single Friday now for, over 6 years, I've been bringing you a show that just kind of brings together everything that we talk about during the week. So yes, I'll be doing a recap of podcasts from the week, each and every day of the Cabral Concept. I love bringing you 2 research studies that I think are really applicable for you, your family, your loved ones, and then I try to break down the research to actually say, hey, what is all this saying? What does it mean? How can I take action on it, if any, for yourself? And again, sharing it with other people. This week in 2022, or I should say this year, I'm doing an Herb of the Week. But again, then for years in the future, we can look back and say, hey, I'd like to learn more about Indian frankincense. I'd like to learn more about what's the big ones that we've been doing the last few weeks? Bioperine, which comes from black pepper, and things like schisandra berry that I talked about even just last week. These are all great herbs that when you want to take a little bit of a deeper dive, I give you about a 5-minute topic on that. I give you the research that it's studied, scientifically proven to work, even though we've been using these things, again, thousands of years and know this, but then also where you're able to best apply it. Because again, not every herb is going to be needed by every single person. Love bringing you Book of the Week. A few weeks back, we did Dr. Perlmutter's, I guess, not latest book, but a newer book, and much, much more. So hopefully you've been enjoying these, and I always start with what the updates are for the week before we get into all of those great items. And this week, a lot of people did the functional medicine detox, the fall detox, which, by the way, is one of the most important. I know we're into October now. I think October 7th today. But a lot of people do their fall detox in October. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And if you haven't already completed yours, you'll be seeing a lot of people in our community talking about it and doing it in October. So don't feel like you missed out, that you're not able to do it. You absolutely can. The bottom line is this: you do the best you can with what you have at the time you're able to do it, right? And if the time is now, great, do it now. If the time is not now, try to make the time now, right? Because the time is never perfect. So we've got a lot of people on social media sharing. We've got a lot of gyms and spas and other places doing their own community detoxes, and it's going exceptionally well. So I love to see that. That's what it's all about. It's one of the best segues into functional medicine, which is a different type of health. It's about looking at your health as everything has an answer, everything has an underlying root cause, and beginning to empty your rain barrel, which simply means removing your toxicities while replacing your deficiencies so that your body can work as it was intended to do. So if you don't know what the detox is, I've got a free detox course. You can take it at stephencabral.com/courses. Again, it's completely free. Feel free to do that. And then if you own a gym, a studio, a spa, or you have an online following, and you want to get 30 plus people together, we'd be happy to chat with you further about you running your own community detox, where there's so many amazing benefits for you and your community. If you have 30 plus people that can commit to a detox, you can simply email community detox to support@equa.life, and we'll connect you with our support team. All right, let's get started. Let's get started today. We're going to be talking about what's going on over at EquiLife. That is the free bottle of the daily mushroom support on all qualifying orders. This is just an amazing, amazing product giveaway. I mean, it's literally a $50 product, probably more, the value of that, because you're getting about 10 different mushrooms. We call them natural medicinal health mushrooms. And these are things that help with your overall balancing of immune system, clinically proven, of course, helping with things like allergies, helping with cardiovascular health, helping with cognitive function, brain function, and so much more. Well, you get your bottle completely free on all qualifying orders by going to stevencabral.com/shop. And you can even check out the product page, which will show you that it has reishi, chaga for endurance and energy, reishi for the allergies, the immune system, lion's mane for overall strength, vitality, energy, focus, cordyceps, energy, endurance, mitochondria, maitake, shiitake for the immune system, agaricus for the cardiovascular system, turkey tail for overall longevity, immune health, brain, and more. So really powerful formula, almost 2 full grams with each serving. And again, you can find that over at stevencabral.com/shop. Of course, you can grab a bottle if you'd like, but yours completely free if you'd like as well. And that is going on all this week while supplies last. All right, so let's now move on to our podcast recap of the week. That started with Monday's show, and Monday's show is episode 2432. So 2432 was life's greatest paradox, and I call it kind of life's best kept secret. If you didn't check that out, check that out. I don't want to give away the whole show, but I think that you'll find it interesting, and probably the areas that you put the most effort in your life, and you maybe encounter the most struggles, why might you also see the most benefit then spill into other areas of your life? I went over that on Monday's show. Why cows eat Skittles, literally the candy. I hope that you find this show absolutely appalling. That was the goal. And I give you why cows literally eat Skittles. That's episode 2433. Herbs that ease menopausal symptoms. This was as much a rant as it was anything else of conventional medicine, literally saying that there's no scientific research, that literally anything, except of course pharmaceutical intervention, helps with menopause. I just literally went, here's a study, here's a study, here's a study, and I gave you it in which specific herbs. And then yesterday's show was my new 30-minute daily biohacking routine. It's super fun. It's highly effective. I hope you check that out. Maybe even mimic it yourself, because I'm telling you right now, to this day, I haven't found a better one. And it combines 5 different modalities in 30 minutes. All the things that I'm looking to do, like heat therapy, red light therapy, binaural beats, and so much more. So definitely check that out. All right. All podcasts can always be found and searched at stevencabral.com/podcasts. All right. Let's go over our herb of the week. Interesting one. Now, why do I say it's interesting? Because the thing is, not everything in life is black and white, right? Most things are gray area. So when people say all like gums are bad for you, meaning like carrageenan gum, xanthan gum, things like that, I say, yeah, they are pretty much, right? Pretty much they are. These are things that are thickeners and other items like that are added to food to give it a little bit of weight, we'll say, a little bit of volume, and they help it from separating, right? Now, some products need that, or you would simply see separation and it wouldn't work, right? Like, you can't really... Anyway, I won't get too deep into that. But there are certain ones that I absolutely won't use. Now, back in the day, I'd be like, oh, they're all the same. And again, like, that's the outside of the onion thinking. They're all the same. So then I started looking into Ayurvedic research, of course, this is many years ago, and they use something called Guar gum. And I'm like, okay, Ayurveda hasn't been wrong, right? They've studied this now for thousands of years before even they recorded it 5,000-6,000 years ago. Why would they use Guar gum? One more thing for me to look into. Let's look into it. And so then I'm looking into Guar gum. I'm like, oh, okay, I see why they used it. And then I'm like, oh, and then there's something called resins, like a propolis per se, or, propolis would kind of be an in-between, but we'll go with that. And then a mastic gum, right? So these are essentially resins, gums, thickeners that are all natural, and they have tremendous medicinal value. So if you've ever looked into propolis, it's absolutely phenomenal. It is something that helps with the immune system and vitality and so many other things. We won't go into that today. Maybe I'll make that another herb of the week. I could do that. And then also a mastic gum, right? It's the most effective thing that's really known for H. pylori, bacterial infection of the stomach. But again, now I have to give you my disclaimer. I'm not here to provide any medical advice, medical diagnostics, medical cures, or medical treatment plans, but we're here to help you with the underlying root causes of all these basic issues. Okay, so if some are good and some are bad, well, that's the gray area. And that's what we have to understand. So anybody that tells you all of this is bad and all of that is good, probably not true. So let's go through some of the research. What is guar gum? And then I'm actually going to give you the scientific research backing it up. All right. And then I'm going to show you how things are then taken out of context and for good reason, right? Then they're considered bad. All right. So very simple. Guar gum comes from guar beans. Okay, so what are beans known as? Well, they're known as a polysaccharide. They're known as sometimes being higher in fiber. And by themselves, they're a thickening-based substance. I mean, think about it. If you've ever had beans and you've broken them down, mashed them down, maybe almost like a refried bean, that's thick, right? Like that's how you make a thickener. All right, well, you can use a tiny amount you can actually take it as a product if you want, or it's part of sometimes nutritional supplements. Well, why would it be part of nutritional supplements? Well, some powders need a natural thickener in order for the product to be able to layer properly if there are multiple ingredients. So like vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and other things stacked. And that's how basically a product works when you're using it specifically and making it that way. Okay, but it's also used in a lot of other things such as making your own ice cream or even salad dressings, things of that nature. But again, not all these gums are created equal. I certainly wouldn't want a carrageenan gum in any of my products, and it is in quite a bit of nut milks or ice creams, etc. All right, so here's the interesting thing. People are like, well, it's not good because it can cause digestive upset. It's actually the opposite with this. So digestive upset does typically happen with a lot of gums, but again, not all things are created equal. So guar gum has actually been shown to reduce the growth of harmful bacteria in the gut. And I will link that up for you. Why don't I do that? I'm going to make it easy so I don't read through every single study. Just head on over to stevencabral.com/2436 for today's show, and I'll link all of these up. And here's an interesting one, because again, you want to be careful, and we have a huge digestive health-based practice, right? So we do lots of digestive health. It's probably the number one thing we do, and hormones and everything related to hormones is probably number two, like energy and fertility and vitality for life. So IBS study used partially hydrolyzed, so broken down, guar gum to improve IBS symptoms. Makes no sense, right? Irritable bowel syndrome, why would you possibly be giving someone guar gum? Well, what happened was it reduced bloating while increasing healthy stool frequency and formation. So just wanted to share that with you. Another thing that it helps with is blood sugar balance. Part of that is being a soluble fiber. It can help with that. Now, it's not providing a lot of fiber in nutritional supplements. I just want to throw that out there because you're using a very, very small amount of it. It can help with blood cholesterol, oftentimes because fiber can help with overall blood cholesterol. And it's been shown to help with overall satiety and weight loss and its appetite reducing effects. Now, it's very interesting because the negative side effects that have been found with guar gum is when it's typically used at, I think the range I have here, let's see, like even if you consumed an entire can of coconut milk, it would be 2.4 grams of guar gum, which is a lot. That's a good amount. But in studies, they use about 7 to 10 times that amount of where they found it to be difficult on the digestive system. Well, it's kind of like, yes, of course, right? If you drank a gallon of coffee, you'd be in some serious digestive distress, right? If you ate 2 pounds of broccoli, instead of it being good for you, you'd probably be in some serious digestive distress. If you ate 3 pounds of meat, you'd probably be in serious digestive distress. So I just share that with you because it's kind of like, yes, of course, don't do that, right? For all of people who drink, green juice on a daily basis. If you drank a gallon of green juice upon waking, you may have some serious digestive distress. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I also shared this with you because there's actually benefit to the digestive system, repressing harmful growth and bacteria with blood sugar, with cholesterol and weight maintenance. And so that's that. Just wanted to share it with you that again, I wouldn't go out of my way to consume guar gum, but certainly this can be a healthy one. And that is why Ayurvedic medicine recommended it a lot for that kapha body type. All right. Next up today is instead of a book review, I wanted to give you a podcast review. I did a show. I do a lot of interviews, and I love doing interviews on other podcasts and YouTube networks and all sorts of different places. And this one I did with the MindPump crew. You've heard me talk about them before. Why am I mentioning them here today? Because we actually did a brand new style of interview. Previous to that, I did a minerals and metals test with them, which was I loved. That was a lot of fun. But I did a stress, mood, and metabolism test with them. Basically, I went over their hormones on the show: cortisol, testosterone, DHEA, estrogen, progesterone, all of their thyroid numbers, their vitamin D, insulin, and hemoglobin A1C. And it's interesting because some of the guys openly and admittedly are using testosterone replacement therapy. And so if you're a practitioner or you're someone who's interested in hearing more about that, it's becoming very prevalent, at least in the United States, very, very prevalent of men in their even 20s, but 30s and beyond, using TRT at a much younger age. So I went through all of the pros and cons. I went over what labs should look like. And then also, one of the guys, Doug, was not using TRT. So I got to share that lab and how to increase testosterone naturally. Some of the guys had higher levels of stress hormone and what to do about that. So hopefully you enjoy the interview. It's completely free, and you learn about stress hormones and then sex hormones and that much more. So I'm going to link that up for you, but it was episode 1910 of their podcast. If you're wanting to look that up on whatever you decide to use, right? Spotify, Apple, etc. So that is that, and I'll link it up on today's 2436. 2 research studies today. The first one is on vitamin D. I thought this was a very interesting study on vitamin D and the effectiveness in both lean and overweight women with PCOS. Because what they found was actually that women with PCOS, women that are lean versus overweight, there is actually a difference in the actual improvement of their numbers. But what happens when you use vitamin D? Does that improve overall? So let me link up this study too. This was in the European Review. I'm pretty sure it was European Review. And then I'm going to share with you the actual analysis of this as well, which was extremely, like I said, interesting. Okay, so the analysis was this. That CoQ10 is my next one. PCOS is today. Okay, they found that when lean women introduced other modalities that would help with typically balancing blood sugar and inflammation, etc., they got better results. And women that were already higher in insulin resistance, that means the body is just not listening to these signals of insulin being released by the pancreas in order to pull glucose in the body. Now, we've talked about insulin in depth on this podcast. I talked about all the underlying root causes: high androgens like testosterone, higher levels of cortisol, lower level of thyroid, gut health and intestinal permeability-based issues, and low vitamin D was one of those as well. So the good news is this, that whether you are at your healthy weight or whether you may be overweight, vitamin D helped both women, regular BMI 19 to 24.9, or overweight or obese, meaning 24.9, let's say 25 to 29, or 30 plus, which is just going by BMI. Again, this isn't a show on BMI. I'm just sharing with you the actual data. And what it found was this, that vitamin D inhibits a pathway called NF-κB, and why that is important is nuclear factor kappa beta actually is one of those old DNA-based sequences in our body, or proteins, I should say, in our body, that picks up outside pathogens and marks them for the immune system to go after them. What does that mean? Well, it means that the body is more inflamed more often when this is turned up to a higher level, which seems to be the case in women with PCOS and potentially with being over your ideal BMI. This means that the inflammation can lead to higher levels of estrogen, potentially higher levels of androgens, and certainly overall inflammation, which we know can create higher levels of cortisol, which can create higher levels of estrogen, which can create higher levels of cortisol. So what vitamin D did, vitamin D supplementation actually dampened and quieted and balanced NF-kB levels inside of the cells. Enough so that it enabled women to decrease inflammatory markers and even helped a bit with blood sugar. Now, it helped tremendously in women that were not overweight and helped to a degree in women that were overweight, which is why, again, a lot of doctors say, you just need to lose weight. You just need to get, again, like women do not want to hear that with PCOS, okay? Because it's honestly, it is, I'm trying to be nice here to doctors that say that. It's the wrong thing to do, and it is insensitive because many women have tried to lose weight and they're not able to lose weight because of higher levels of cortisol, lower level of thyroid, lower level of vitamin D, higher levels of, especially, like I said, diurnal imbalances in cortisol and thyroid. So what we try to do is share with women, listen, literally, it's not your fault. Your body's imbalanced at this moment in time. It's going to be nearly impossible to lose weight until you balance the other hormones in your body, the metabolic factors. So anyway, the first start to that seems to be with vitamin D. And it's a great place to start. It's super inexpensive if you're not getting sunlight. The problem is most people are like, oh, well, I went outside for 15 minutes and I got some sun. I'm like, okay. What were you wearing? And they're like, well, a t-shirt and pants. Okay, so you got sun on your face and you got sun on like half of your arm. It's not gonna be enough to move your vitamin D levels. So either you need to get full body, like bathing suit body exposure until you get a slight tan, not saying you burn or turn red, anything like that, 4+ times a week, or you just supplement with vitamin D3. Like that's it. So you only kind of get one or the other. You get one choice or the other. And I have no problem with people not supplementing, but that's really difficult. As I shared in the MindPump podcast and many others, nearly impossible. I've run tens of thousands of vitamin D tests, and most people, even in the summertime, do not get their levels up because they're not at the beach every day, right? Like most people work, they're inside. And so, or they're slathered in sunscreen that their dermatologist tells them to wear. So that is that with that. I just want to share that with you because these results are easily obtained. The dosage used in the study was 2,000 IUs. I typically recommend 2,000 to 4,000 IUs per day. Again, not giving you medical advice, but then you get your levels checked. And if they're between a 50 and 70, you're at the right amount. If they're a little low, you can supplement with a little bit more. If they're above a 70, unless you're working with a healthcare practitioner for a specific reason to be elevated, then you can lower it a bit. All right, wanted to share that with you. Vitamin D, super simple, and honestly, a great place to start for most people with some type of health imbalance. All right, last study of the day, and I know that I'm kind of going long today, so I don't want to say I'm going to make this quick, but this was a really interesting one. CoQ10, so the meta-analysis of CoQ10 with fatigue, another great study. I'm going to link this up as well. It's called Effectiveness of Coenzyme Q10 Supplementation for Reducing Fatigue, a systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled studies. This was published in Frontiers in Pharmacology. Why is this important? Because I was given CoQ10 way back in the day, like literally just coming out, let's say late 90s. And I know it wasn't just coming out, but it was really just coming out. Health food stores, they're like, oh, coenzyme Q10. Back then, nobody was even using the ubiquinol form or even ubiquinone, which is right before ubiquinol. And here's what they found, that the meta-analysis looked at 13 randomized controlled trials to assess CoQ10 on over 1,126 people. Average age was 49, and it was 75% female. And their kind of range was kind of healthy to healthy but fatigued, and some associated diseases like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, heart failure, multiple sclerosis, cancer, chemo, etc. And what they found was that the studies range from 4 to 24 weeks, and 10 of the studies looked at CoQ10 alone, and then some studied with NAD, and one studied it with kind of a 30 milligrams in a mixed nutritional drink. Here's the interesting thing. It found that CoQ10 does work. It helped many people, and it seemed to do better on by itself. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this to you is because CoQ10 did not work better by itself. This is extremely important to share with you. The reason why CoQ10 worked better by itself in these studies is because the dosage was typically 100 to 200 milligrams or more. And when it was mixed with other products, the dosage was lowered. That means that CoQ10 does not have an effectiveness really when it's around 30 milligrams, which it was in one of these mixed nutritional drinks. Now, you can say there's a synergistic effect, and I don't discount that. However, if you're looking for the effectiveness of coenzyme Q10, which gives those mitochondria more of a ability to produce ATP, which is that energy for the mitochondria, that adenosine triphosphate, you want to be able to get a dosage of about 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams. That is what we've always been using in our practice. That's what we love to use. We'll use coenzyme Q10 if it's a synergistic-based product, but then oftentimes we'll use the ubiquinol form of it as well, or even the ubiquinone form, knowing that it can be processed in the body to ubiquinol. So I just wanted to share that with you. The product that I use and have been using is called Cell Boost by EquiLife. But you don't have to use that product. What I would say to you is if you're going to use coenzyme Q10, you're going to spend your dollars on it. Just make sure that there's 100 milligrams or more if you're looking to get that full effect. Hopefully this was helpful. Love being able to bring the research to you. I will link it up if you want to be able to look at these studies yourself. Take care, everybody, and I'll be back tomorrow answering more of your questions on the Cabral House Calls. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at EquiLife, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquiLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.